Hey.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You clicked on this video for a reason, so stick around. If you're new, welcome, subscribe. And if you're not, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the tips and advice of like the application process for North Carolina A&T. As many of you guys may know that I was a transfer student, I am a transfer student. I transferred from a community college, and I know around this time is normally when a lot of high schoolers are trying to decide whether or not they're going to be going to community college and then transferring out. Yeah, so that's why I think that this right now is the perfect time to put this video out, so that, you know, it's easier for people to decide whether or not they want to go to community college or whether or not they want to go straight in. But the application process is going to be more so for if a high schooler decides to go to community college, what they need to start out, you know, once they start community college, what they need to pay attention to, and then the application process for any community college student that is trying to go to North Carolina A&T, maybe in like, you know, a few years or a year or two or whatever. We're just gonna jump right into this video because it really is a lot of tips and stuff like that from what I have learned. So let's just get it started. The first tip is gonna be like on the realm of the classes to take in community college. I know that there's a lot of like stigma against going to community college because not all of your classes will transfer to the school that you're trying to go to, and that is not true. Because most schools nowadays, they have like this class transfer articulation tool. North Carolina A&T definitely has one. They have it to where, and I'll put it on the screen, they'll have it to where if I'm looking down, I'm looking at it. Their articulation tool will have you put the country and then the state and then whatever community college you go to or whatever college you go to, and then under that is where you can put in what class you're trying to see will transfer to the school. My tip about that would be, if you do go to community college, the classes that for sure won't transfer to North Carolina A&T are the classes that are 3 credits at your community college but then 4 credits at A&T. So for instance, I think in one photo, zoology at my community college is 3 credits, but at A&T is 4, so that wouldn't transfer over because obviously there's something that may not have been taught and they're gonna reteach you because it's not the same amount of credits. With the articulation tool though, for high school seniors or even if you're still in community college, you can go in and again you can see which classes transfer to A&T, and that is how this last year I have been able to see what classes I wanted to take to make sure that it transferred to all of the schools that I was interested in, because A&T was not on the top of my list. A bunch of random classes that your community college advisor is telling you to take because they're not in your shoes, so you want to make sure that you aren't wasting any money, because there have been students that in other videos that I've seen from A&T took like 50 credits and only like 20 transferred, and you don't want to set yourself back, especially when you're trying to graduate on time. Another tip that I would say is not even just for A&T, like high school seniors, transfer students, whatever school that you're maybe interested in and trying to transfer to from community college, or even if you're fresh out of high school and is trying to go to a college, you want to visit the school. Visiting the campus, to me personally, see the vibe of the students at the school, see the vibe of the students giving the tour, and what you'll be able to definitely see whether or not you can see yourself at that school. So definitely visit the school first. It's also good to see, because I've seen a lot of videos on A&T of like moving vlogs and stuff like that, and then or like a day in my life and stuff like that, not even just for A&T, other schools too, and they're always like, my dorm is so far. One thing that I can say that I did like about what I did for A&T was that like I made a list of what dorms I would be interested in based off of how they would look, and then when I visit the school I noticed where they said my classes would be, because I'm a criminal justice major, compared to the dorms that I like. So I'm just like, are they far? Of course, where I have classes at is going to be all the way on the opposite side of the campus, which it really doesn't bother me because I don't really put headphones in world out. I personally think that that is a good idea. If you want to get an idea of how long your walk may be, then definitely do that. I know some kids during the tour, they were riding around the campus, you know, going from one parking lot to the next parking lot because they didn't want to walk the entire time. A&T's campus is really huge, especially during the tour. They're taking you on the outskirts of the school. They're not taking you through like cutting through stuff, so that just made the visit a lot, you know, longer. I think it was like 2 hours. It was really fun. Okay, so from the school I have like the books and stuff like that from when I visited, and I do know that everything that they said is up to date online far as the requirements. Do know that for a transfer student, I believe that the application is like a 2.0 or a 2.5, and when you go to community college, you have to make sure that every class that you take, you at least get a C or above, because it will not transfer to any type of institution, not even just A&T. Any school you go to, if you get below a C, that class is not automatically not going to transfer. So make sure that you at least stay on top of your grade. It depends on your major. I know criminal justice 2.5, college of engineering is 2.5, stuff like biology is 2.8, social work is 2.6, speech language is 2.8. Most of the stuff is like 2.5, a little bit more competitive, so they want you to have better grades for those. So the application process is really not hard for a transfer student. That's why I know that when I applied during high school, it was a lot because everybody was still taking their SAT, ACT in high school, and you were waiting for those scores to get back, so you couldn't really fully apply because you couldn't submit your scores and stuff like that. But all you needed for A&T was your final transcript from your community college. You needed your high school final transcript, and then make sure that you save your SAT and ACT scores, or at least try to look for them now if you know that you'll be applying in the next year, because they do ask for those. They don't really trip about them, but they do ask for those. The earlier you apply, the earlier you get your decision back. I applied during early action, which for fall 2022, early action 1 ended October 15th. It doesn't say when it started, but I do know that I submitted my application in September. Early action part 2 ended December 15th, and then regular ends June. But just imagine June hearing back potentially in June or July, and you're trying to go to the school in August. So just the earliest you apply, the earliest you hear back. Again, I applied during early action. I definitely recommend that. I literally just told you everything you need for your application, which is great because you don't need any letters of recommendation. You don't need any of that. Or I mean, if you may, for other schools, you can easily ask who you get your letter of recommendation from to make it to where you can change the name of the school, change things around a little bit, and it doesn't change, you know, the overall letter recommendation. I also wanted to share like this little hiccup that I had and just use it as an example. So I had got my overall application done in September. I submitted my application. I submitted my final transcript from my community college. I submitted my SAT scores, ACT scores, all of that. But for some reason, well, everybody knows A&T is a big campus, so I had to get in contact with my high school counselor, and they had me fill out a form, whatever, email it to her, and then she sent it my official high school transcript to whatever address I put on the form. So nobody told me that A&T, you had to send it to a specific building, because other schools, they didn't care about that. But it was like 3 weeks, and I was like, okay, I didn't hear back. I didn't, you know, they're saying that my application is still incomplete when I sent it out. So I ended up calling them, and they asked me what address did I put on there, and I said that I put on, like, you know, just the A&T campus. And then the woman was like, you know, A&T is so big, put down the admissions building so that it just goes straight to the admissions building, because sometimes when you put the overall campus on the letter for it to be sent there, it gets lost on campus because then they don't know what building, and there's so many buildings on campus. So I mean, I completely understand that, but I was never told that, so I never knew. So once I resent it with the right address, I heard back pretty quickly. The woman already said, she was just like, your overall application was already submitted in September, so as soon as we get that last piece, that's when they'll definitely have a decision for you right away. So if you miss something or you forget something, don't think that your overall application is no good and that is late, or is it fully submitted until you get everything. That's not true. As long as the actual like application part is done and submitted and you paid your fee, then you know, any additional documents, that doesn't hold back. Because most times, the woman told me, most times from your overall application and, you know, seeing how you did in your college and stuff like that, they already kind of have a idea of what they want, you know, whether or not you're in. This is for high school seniors, and this is for people who are starting out in community college or just know that you want to transfer out to a school. Take community college seriously. Don't use it as a time to slack. Don't use it as a time to be like, you know, it's not actual university. If you're trying to transfer out, think of it as a way to prove yourself, especially for those that may not not have, you know, done so well in high school, they don't really care about your high school. They want the information. I know other schools that I applied to, they didn't even ask for high school, but for the colleges that do, they're just curious, you know. And if you think about it, if you did not so good in high school but you're doing way better in community college, obviously they're going to base it off the community college. But if you did better in high school than you are in community college, then it's just like, okay, this person has definitely slacked since high school. Should we bring them along? Again, I said before that North Carolina A&T wasn't on the top of my list. I think of it as after college, I think it was just the best decision, the smartest decision, because I know for a fact that they have it to where in your senior year you have to do internships as a grade. So I think that's really good, considering, you know, it's easier for you to find a job if you're doing an internship. You know, that internship can turn into a paid job pretty quickly. So I think if you're a high school like senior looking at this, or a high school junior looking at this, don't knock the idea of community college. I was able to pay, you know, the 2 years of community college out of pocket. You know, definitely apply to scholarship, but don't use any loans if you do not need any loans. I was able to work. I mean, Miss Rona made her appearance and stuff like that. That is the reason why I went to community college, because other than that, I was not even trying to go to community college. But at the same time, it's definitely helped me out, because I was able to do web-based courses and still work full-time 40+ hours, and then just maybe be on Zoom or just do straight up web-based courses where we're not meeting on Zoom at all, you know. And it has definitely helped me. If you already know you want to go to A&T but you want to do community college first, every class that you take, before you take it, check to see if the class transfers. That's literally it. And like I said, A&T was already on my list. I had a few colleges already on my list, and every class that I took, I was making sure that it transferred to every college, just in case. Like I gave myself freedom to change my mind, which I did a few times, but it's okay. Don't knock community college. Make sure your classes transfer. Make sure you visit the school. Apply during early action. Apply as soon as possible. It gives you more time to prepare. Definitely take community college serious. And your classes transfer, that GPA also transferred. You were able to get scholarship money. You can be like an honor student. All you need is 3.5 for that, and there's a lot of opportunity there. So I think if you're looking at A&T specifically, do everything that I just told you in this video. I'm gonna just take you guys along everything that I do. Right now it's the application process, hearing back, touring the school, and knowing whether or not I got in. So orientation. No, next step, like financial aid and all of that, and orientation. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and comment what you would like to see from me next. And that is it. Before I close off this video, I also wanted to share with you guys, just like what people say with college, your transfer experience is what you make it. So don't be afraid of, you know, classes and stuff like that. Just make sure you plan properly. Try to have an idea what school you want to go to ahead of time, so that you can, again, do all of the steps that I have already shared with you. Don't be afraid to transfer. That's why I feel like most people don't go to community college, because they're afraid of transferring. But it has a lot of great opportunities. And just think about it, how expensive some of these schools are, especially out-of-state tuition. You don't have to pay for 4 years, and you may not even have to pay it for 2 years if you go in getting to know people and getting to know different organizations, and potentially getting your school cut down a lot, you know. So plan accordingly. Make sure you plan properly as well. Try to plan ahead of time, and everything will work out in your favor. I promise.
Truck to the plane, to the truck to the hotel lobby. Me, I go from underground garages, presidential suite on deposit, elevator up to the room, shower up, and then we hit the club. Touchdown, gotta see what's up.